tuning in.
My Miami, it's a one-of-a-kind combination of bold, vibrant art that's made to be free, to go on stages, walls, or become them. It all leads me to a world filled with warm waters and extraordinary trails. This is when I'm at my best, when I'm embracing my art venture side. This is my Miami. What's yours?
Hey, what's up, Hilo News family? Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk, our show that is powered by Hilo News. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief and all the titles of Hilo News. And thank you for watching another episode. Today, we always talk to people doing dope things and great things in the community, and today is no different. I'm really excited to have my guest on today. She's doing some really cool things in the area of education, and she's here to break it all down and to tell us why she's doing it and why you should support. So without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show, Chrissybil. Hey, what's up, girl? Hey.
Hey, girl. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Of course. Thank you for taking time to come and stop by. Can we talk and talk with us about all the great things that you have going on? And I don't want to delay this any further. I want to jump right into it. Can you tell me about your business? You work in the education space, so tell me about what it is and what your company does.
Absolutely. Again, it's such an honor to be here with you today. Shout out to your audience. So I am from South Florida. I went to Silver Trail Middle School, Everglades High School. I've always been really passionate about education. My dad is a doctor. He lives in Haiti. And my mom is a nurse who lives in New York. And so I spent every summer going to Haiti. And it was really, really hard to understand why, in the US, in New York, I had access to running water and electricity in school. And I took those things for granted until I realized that my friends in Haiti didn't have access to those things. And so it always, was something I grappled with, understanding why are rich countries rich? Why are poor countries poor? And what are the things that we can do to help empower people? And so throughout my journey, I just keep coming back to education and economics, again and again and again. And so I started tutoring at 12. One teacher asked me to work with my peers that were struggling, but their parents couldn't afford tutoring. And so I did it. I realized I really loved it. I really, really love to see people believe in themselves, and being part of that journey is really how I defined my role. And it's something I did throughout middle school, high school, and even college. So fast forward to me being 18, total nerd. Dream is to go to Duke. I have the posters. I did the virtual tour. I want to go there. 4.8 GPA, president of 3 clubs, waiting at the mailbox. Just, so heartbroken when I see a small letter in the mail, not this huge welcome package. And it turns out I was waitlisted, girl. And I was waitlisted because of my SAT score. And that really sucked because my mom is Haitian. She didn't grow up in the US. She has no idea, how important the SAT is. And as a single parent, it would have been a huge sacrifice to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on SAT prep. And so I felt because of my background, somehow my future could be limited. And yeah, it was a huge defining moment because I had to either fight back or give up. And I decided to fight back, studied for the test, got a perfect score, and then created a curriculum to help other kids do so. So way before I started my first business, I was already, without realizing it, an entrepreneur. And I was already using education to help empower people. Because, in the last 10 years, the cost of college has gone up over 20%. Mm-hmm. So the average student is graduating with $40,000 of debt before getting their first job, getting their first house. And real wages in the US haven't gone up in the last 30 years. And so then the math is not mathing right now.
It's not.
Yeah.
So tell me about the journey in creating your first business. So
Mhm.
we were talking, so you actually have two businesses and they kind of feed into each other. So tell me about that first business and launching that and what that journey was like.
Yeah, so I didn't get into Duke, decided to go to Florida State, which is an amazing school. Had a lot of fun there, but wanted a bigger challenge and transferred over to Emory University, where I ended up getting my bachelor's. But during my break year after Emory, I started a nonprofit organization to help support local kids in Haiti with like mindfulness, reading, and math classes. So I volunteered my time as a teacher in Haitian schools. And then I also worked as a teacher at like a low income, high risk school in Fort Lauderdale. So during my gap year, I explored education, really loved the impact I could have in kids' lives. Ended up applying to Cambridge and Oxford. I was like, I'm going to apply to two best schools in the world for a master's. And if I don't get in, I'm not going to any school. It was super ballsy. But again, I had that dream, right? Like even from before to like go to Duke. And then
Yeah.
after going to Emory, it was just clear to me that I just wanted to keep pursuing education. And so I got accepted to both.
Nice.
And I went to Cambridge, and I was the first Haitian American to get a master's in economic development from Cambridge. And so even though I had been like
Congrats.
practice looking at education, I wanted to understand like the theory of economics. And, it's just always been in my mind, like, how can I connect these two things? And so I got a job working for like a very prestigious organization in Paris, a big intergovernmental organization where I could meet with like diplomats and ambassadors and super fancy. And all my classmates, when after my internship, when I was offered a full-time position, everyone was like, she got the best job. Sib was like killing it. And the truth is, I really, really didn't like it at all.
Mm-mm.
I think I couldn't vibe with it because ultimately you are not a policymaker. You are an advisor. Like you give suggestions on policy. And because I would go to Haiti every summer and, understand the struggles of my friends going without water and electricity, I've had to understand the direct impact I was having in the world. And it wasn't enough just to write like research papers about it in like my ivory tower, hanging out with diplomats, like when there are real people that are suffering. And I decided that even if my impact in the world would be less, that I want to be able to measure what I'm doing. And
So
so,
sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to know, like, just for context, what type of job were you doing right out of grad school?
oh yeah, so I was working for an intergovernmental organization. They're kind of like the UN,
Mm,
but for economics. And so what they do is they do like they write research papers and they provide policy advice to politicians, to other stakeholders. And so they focus on everything from education to transportation to economic development, infrastructure. It's a really, really big organization. And for economic development major, the OECD, which is the Organization for Economic Development, there's really no better
yeah.
place that you could be. And so everyone's like, you should really be happy here. And I just didn't like it. And honestly, I think, and any young professionals out there, if you're trying to figure out like what you want to do, it's really important to like take lunches with people or coffees with people that have been in senior positions or at different levels to just hear what their experience has been like. And so I did that a lot. I met with people from all sorts of departments at different levels in the organization, and it just seemed to me that people were like, did you write this down on your resume? I was like, yeah, of course. They were like, okay, then now go.
Hmm.
They were because they kind of felt like they got pigeonholed or got stuck into a position where at the end of the day, at the end of a 30-year career, they weren't really sure if they helped people. And I just didn't want that to happen to me. And so I took a huge leap of faith. At the time, it would have been the most pay I had ever received. And I decided to, turn down the full-time job after my internship, and move back to Florida into my mom's house, driving my 2001 Honda Civic, like starting from the bottom. Like literally everyone thought I was nuts. Like, why would she do that? And they're like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to go tutor. And because that's what I know how to do. That's what I've always done. And yeah, we got booked and busy, and it became clear that this is something I could monetize. And today we have about 35 tutors working with us in person, online, conducting hundreds and hundreds of hours of tutoring each month and changing lives. So that was
So
how we started Jumpstart.
Jumpstart. And so when you first came back, was it clear that you were going to be an entrepreneur, or did it just develop into that?
It developed into it. One thing that I know for sure is that I wanted to own my own time. That's like very important to me. I love to meditate. I love singing. I love dancing. I love researching. I love reading, and I love spending time with people that I love. So in an ideal day, I would do a little bit of all that, and I still haven't gotten all that in. I'm still at the stage where I have to work very hard. I'm really busy, but at least I have more flexibility. I have more room about where I work, how I work, which hours I want to work, who I want to work with. And so that was a very big motivator to become an entrepreneur. I love, love, love to travel. I've been to about 50 countries. And so I knew that I needed to be able to do that when I wanted to be happy just for me.
Yeah.
And I have friends everywhere now because I went to school in Cambridge, which is in the UK. So I went to school in Europe. I lived there for a long time. So I'm like, I can't live a life just away from my friends where I can only have like 2 weeks off. Like, this is not going to work. And then ultimately, the ability to scale my impact in this world. So I think those are the biggest things. I mean, if you're becoming an entrepreneur because you want to work less, like that does not happen until like way, way, way later, if it happens. So yeah, you work double at least, but it's so fulfilling to have this idea, and to really start off with just like one tutor or two tutors and to have it grow. We've grown organically through word of mouth, people being happy with our results, partnering with libraries, schools, NGOs. It's only now, like 4 years in, that I'm actually looking to start hiring my first like sales team and like really get into marketing. So the good thing about that is I spent time really getting to know my customer and our problem. And so now as we grow, we'll, be able to keep like that small business feel, with more resources. So
That's what's up. And I really love what you're saying about like not just working a job, but wanting to have impact. And I think that's really a change, especially with younger generations like millennials and Gen Zers. Like it's about making an impact in the world and not just like
yeah.
collecting a check. And at this point, you're at a position where you want to make more of an impact and using technology and artificial intelligence to do that. Tell me about this new venture of viral learning and what that will be and what that will look like in the marketplace.
Absolutely, yeah. So for the last year, we've been thinking really critically about how we can help more students, and lower the cost to personalize learning, but ultimately use education as a pipeline for economic development. Like going back to that question I asked myself as a 6-year-old in Haiti, asking my dad, like, why is this kid chasing after your car? And so ultimately, I've gotten together a team of really, really smart people, 150 plus years of combined experience in like AI, machine learning, education, gamification, product market fit. And what we're looking to do is create a online platform where high school students who don't want to go to college now have a pipeline to connect with Fortune 500 companies. So there's a rising trend right now, and the cost of college has basically gone up so high in the last 10 years with wages not budging at all. And so a lot of kids are wondering, should I go into $40,000 of debt, when I may not even be able to get a job that is going to make it worthwhile in the end. And they're looking for viable alternatives. On the flip side, you have corporations like Google and IBM that are saying, hey, we're removing our college degree requirements. And now they're assessing candidates based on their experience, based on their skills and their personality traits. And so you have corporations that are they spent $10 billion more last year than the year before on training and recruitment.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. $92 billion market right now and growing very fast. And that's because there's a shortage of workers for high paying jobs. And so on one hand,
So what would Vero Learning be doing, I guess, in this space? Like, where do you guys play into like this grand picture of like where the economy and the job market is going?
Yeah, so using AI to create smart student profiles. So we're going to have a series of assessment tests and games and courses that students will interact with on their own with other users. And that's going to assess key performance indicators that hiring managers of these Fortune 500 companies are looking for. So once we figure out like which talents are, a good match for job vacancies, then they enter our program where we first help them figure out what they want to do. Because I think that's number one. Most kids, they graduate from high school, they're not sure what they want to do. So our career exploration courses will help them figure out like, okay, within different corporations, what are the jobs that have vacancies? What are the skills they need? And then figure out like, what is their natural aptitude towards these jobs? Like which jobs would be a good match for them? And then ultimately connecting them to the hiring manager. And so that's what we really want to focus on. We have like a crowdfunding page where everyday people can invest as little as $100 to gain like real equity in our business. So as we continue to grow and evolve, the stakes go up for the person that's invested in us. We want to start first by creating this recruitment pipeline using AI and creating really fun and interesting ways for kids to figure out what they want to do and connect with these hiring managers. But in the future, we're going to expand to actually create apprenticeship programs. So it's like once you graduate from our program, you have a job, whether it's 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, and the corporation will actually take on the costs of going through our program if you stay with them for X number of years. And so I think that that's really a huge way to create economic mobility and really provide a pipeline for high school kids that are just not sure what to do next.
No, that is amazing. And that's like super innovative that you're doing all of this work. You mentioned your crowdfunding campaign, and I wanted to ask you about your fundraiser and how a crowdfunding campaign works if someone, out there doesn't know.
Yeah, that's a great question. And so we're on a platform called WeFunder. So if any of your listeners go to wefunder.com/Vero, VERO learning, then they can learn more about us and our project and our impact in the past. We've worked with over 3,500 students. We have an average SAT increase of 180 points, which is double that of our competitors. We're helping families right here in South Florida save millions of dollars each year through our program. And now what we're looking to do is bring down that cost. So instead of paying us $4,000 for private tutoring, a platform like this is going to provide access to personalized learning experiences, whether you're looking to go to college or you're looking for an alternative path for a fraction of the cost. And so we really hope that people will join us on our mission, not only to democratize college entrance, but really to increase economic development in our communities and get into those high paying jobs without the debt of taking on, student loans that over time just get more massive and more massive. So how a crowdfunding page works is the money that you invest in us, there's a time period in which you would get that back. But in addition to getting that back, like just a loan, you actually get equity, which means that a certain percentage of how much money we make each year will come back to you. And so it's a really, really cool opportunity that, in the past wasn't available. The Obama administration actually fought for crowdfunding to be available to everyday people, because typically to invest in a business, you need to be considered like a certified investor, which means you need to be making a certain amount of money. It's not an easy category for most people to fit into. And so now you don't have to wait until Google is on the stock market. You can invest in us, like companies like us that have the ability to hit, $1 billion plus in revenue. Like while we're on the ground floor, you come in at great terms because the value of our business is the lowest now that it's ever going to be. And so it's just going to continue to go up. And as it goes up, you can join us on our journey. And so, yeah, I definitely recommend that people check out, equity crowdfunding as another investment tool. And if you like what we're doing, you want to get more kids into college without loans, or help students that, don't want to go to college have high paying jobs that can, they can contribute talents back into our community, then definitely check us out, Vero Learning on WeFunder's platform.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I'm glad you brought up that point about this being another option to get funding, to bring your vision to life, to bring your business to life. And so, if
Right.
you're watching us right now, you can look on the screen, and I went ahead and I went and shared the screen so you guys can see what her profile looks like on WeFunder, so you know exactly what you're going to be doing, where you're headed to when you're going to donate to this worthy cause. Christabel, before I let you go, I want to know, how can people connect with you and how can they support you? Where's your social media, your website? What's the best way to support you and connect with you at this point?
Yeah, and so our private tutoring services are available 7 days a week, in home and online. We help students in grades pre-K to 12 with test prep, college entrance, as well as academic support. So if anyone's interested, they can go on our website, www.jumpstarttutors.com. If you'd like to connect with me personally, you can reach me on Instagram, our business page. I'm super active on there, giving lots of tips and tricks that are helpful for students and parents. It's Jump Start Tutors. And yeah, I would love to connect with people in the community. We're also right now holding a focus group just to study more and to understand more about the challenges that high school kids are having after they graduate, to figure out what's next, as well as hiring managers that are just, experiencing challenges with pipelines. So if you fit into any of those categories and you are interested in being a part of our 15-minute convo just to get to know you better, definitely reach out, either on our website or on Instagram.
That's what's up, guys. If you're looking at the screen, Christabel's information and Jumpstart Tutoring is on the screen. Also, too, to connect with their crowdfunding campaign and support that, she has a link in her bio on her Instagram. So we have information on how to get to her Instagram pages right there. Everything's spelled out, so you know how to get there. Let's support home team. She's from South Florida, and we want to make sure that she's a success. Also, too, anytime you have any news, come back to High Low News. You're now a friend of the show. And so we appreciate you for taking time to speak with us and sharing your story, your amazing story on how you started this education empire, this business that you're doing. Guys, let's make sure, go to WeFunder. Our crowdfunding campaign is going on right now, and you can go to their website and their Instagram to find all the information about how you can support her and the business and everything that's going on. Christabel, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me. It's been cool. Thank you for coming on Can We Talk?
Thank you so much for having me. This is an amazing show, and I'm looking forward to watching other, amazing people share their stories.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, this has been another episode of Can We Talk, powered by High Low News. Make sure you're following us on all platforms and social media. Sign up for our email newsletter. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.